I am time. And I want to begin today with the most honest question I have ever asked in 10,000 years of watching human beings. Why? After 5,000 years of religion telling human beings that desire is the enemy, after 5,000 years of priests and monks and saints declaring that the body is a trap, after 5,000 years of guilt and suppression and shame, is the human being more obsessed with desire than any other creature on this planet? More obsessed, not less. Every other animal has a season, a fixed time. Desire arises. Desire is met. Desire dissolves. But the human being, who has been fighting desire for 5,000 years, cannot stop thinking about it for 5 consecutive minutes. I have watched this across every civilization that has ever existed. And I want to tell you what I have seen. Not what religion taught, not what therapy suggests. What actually happened? There was once a man who had a very beautiful coat. A valuable coat, a coat given to him by a king. He never wore it, saving it for a special occasion that never seemed to come. One day a friend arrived, dusty from travel, and needed something presentable to wear. The man gave him the coat. And the moment his friend put it on, the man felt something he had not expected. Envy. He told himself, I am a wise man. I am above material things. A coat is just a coat. What does it matter? But the more he told himself the coat did not matter, the more the coat was all he could think about. At the first house they visited, mid-sentence, without planning, the words came out of his mouth. The coat is mine. He was horrified. He apologized. He made a vow, a solemn, serious vow, that he would not mention the coat again. At the second house, he repeated the vow at the door. He gripped the vow tightly. He concentrated. He was ready. And in the middle of introducing his friend, he said, I should tell you, I have taken a vow not to mention the coat. Ancient India said, this is every human being's relationship with desire. The vow to suppress becomes the obsession. The fight against desire becomes the thing that keeps desire permanently in focus. You cannot fight what you look at. Whatever you look at, you feed. Here's what ancient India discovered that changed everything. There are 3 states a human being can exist in. The first, Prakriti, nature. It was given to you before you made a single choice. The ground you were born standing on. Sexual energy, hunger, anger, ambition. These are Prakriti. They are not sin. They are not weakness. They are culture. What becomes possible when you neither fight nature nor are drowned by it, but transcend it. Move beyond it. Not by fighting the shore, but by swimming toward the other one. Buddha gave this the most beautiful name in all of spiritual history. He called it paramita, the going beyond, the reaching of the other shore. And he said something that shook every tradition before him and after him. If you fight this shore, you must stay on this shore. 2 armies face each other across a border, rifles drawn, eyes locked. If either side turns and simply walks away, they lose the battle. So they stand there, facing the enemy, for decades, for lifetimes. The monk who fights desire is exactly this. He cannot walk away, because he is fighting. and you can only fight what is directly in front of you. The Buddha said, instead of fighting the shore, begin swimming. And as you swim, as your attention moves toward the other shore, the shore does not need to be conquered. It simply becomes farther away. Until one day, without a single battle, without a single vow, without a single act of suppression, you realize you have arrived somewhere else entirely. Now, here is what ancient India discovered about this energy. That no scientist, no psychologist, no religion has stated as precisely. Attention is energy. Whatever you give your attention to grows. Metaphorically. Literally. When you focus consciousness on any center, any desire, any fear, any impulse, you are feeding that center with the most potent force in the universe. Consciousness itself. And here's the devastating insight. The person who indulges desire and the person who fights desire are doing exactly the same thing. Both have given their full attention to desire. One pours energy into it through indulgence. One pours energy into it through resistance. Both continuously, day after day, decade after decade, are pouring their consciousness into the same fire, making it stronger, more persistent, more central to their entire inner life. This is why the monk who has spent 60 years fighting sexual desire is often more sexually obsessed than the men who never try to fight it. Because for 60 years, every single moment, his full consciousness has been pouring itself into the very fire he wanted to extinguish. Think of a valley. You are standing in it. It is dark. If you fight the darkness, if you curse the darkness, if you build walls against the darkness, what happened? You stay in the valley, in the dark, fighting. But if instead, without fighting the darkness at all, you simply begin climbing the mountain, light. The higher you climb, the more light there is. And at some point, you look back, and the valley is far below. And you realize you didn't defeat the darkness. You simply left it behind. Now, what is the mountain? This is what the ancient seers of India spent thousands of years mapping with extraordinary precision. Hold a piece of iron in your hand. Now hold a magnet. Same size, same weight, same atoms arranged the same way. But one of them has an invisible field around it, a force that pulls metal across a room without the energy of consciousness. And they discovered something extraordinary about it. This energy moves. It flows. And this is what no religion ever said clearly. It can flow in two directions. Downward, toward sensation, toward physical union, to the momentary dissolving of the separate self. This is natural. This requires no effort. This is gravity. Or upward. Toward the brain, toward higher consciousness, toward what the ancient texts called samadhi. The same energy. Two directions. And the path from one to the other is not suppression. It is not a vow. It is not a cage. It is not a fight. It is understanding. It is redirected attention. Look at a flower. A rose, a lotus, any flower blooming in a field. You find it beautiful. You call it divine. You offer flowers to God. You use them at your most sacred moments. But do you know what a flower is? A flower is a sexual act. The color, the fragrance, the shape. Every single quality of a flower exists for one reason: to attract, to call, to join, to create new life. Peacock dance. Poets write about its beauty. Saints smile watching it. But every movement of that dance is a call to its mate. The cuckoo sings, the river flows, the seed breaks open in the earth. All of it, every expression of beauty in this world, is the same energy. The same energy you were told is the lowest thing in you. Same energy you were told to suppress. All. And the God who made all of it is the greatest sinner of all. Now, here is the moment in the ancient teaching that everything changes. In the deepest moment of physical union, something extraordinary happens that has nothing to do with the body. For a brief moment, the eye disappears. Not partially. Completely. There's no more of the wall of a separate self. There's no more the constant inner noise. I need, I want, I fear, I am alone. For one moment, prison door opens. What floods in? Silence. Wholeness. Peace that has no reason. Bliss that belongs to nothing outside. And then the moment passes. The wall returns. The eye is back. And you are left with a hunger you cannot name, or something you cannot describe, that you glimpsed and immediately lost. And so you search again. Not for the person, not for the pleasure, for that silence, that disappearance of the lonely self. Ancient India called this state ahang shunyata, ego emptiness. And they said, this is what every human being is actually searching for in every act of love. Not the physical sensation, it seems the dissolution of the I. And samadhi, the state every saint, every sage, every meditator has been pointing toward, is the same state. The ego dissolves, time disappears, a peace with no cause, a bliss that depends on nothing outside. Experience is identical. The only difference is duration. One lasts a moment. One becomes permanent. Cold. Like heavy. Something you hide in a corner. Diamond. Transparent. Brilliant. Most precious thing on earth. What almost no one knows is that a diamond and a piece of coal are made of exactly the same thing. Same carbon, the same atoms, same substance. The difference is not what they are. The difference is what the coal went through. Sexual energy is coal. And the bliss that every human being has been searching for, in every relationship, in every desire, in every desperate reaching toward another, is the same energy. Transformed. Suppressed. Denied. Condemned. Transformed. There's a sculptor working on a stone. The visitor watches for a long time. He cannot see any sculpture being made, only pieces of stone being chipped away. He asks, "Where is the statue?" The sculptor says, "Yum." The statue is already inside the stone. I'm not creating it. I'm only removing what does not belong to it. When I remove everything that is not the statue will appear. Ancient India said, this is the whole of the spiritual journey. You are not trying to become something you are not. You are removing what you are not. The guilt, the shame, the suppression, the obsession born of suppression, The war with yourself that's been going on since the day you were told your nature was the enemy. Remove these, and what is already inside you begins to appear. The Ganga rises in the Himalayas. And its only nature, its only purpose, its only direction is the ocean. The river was always going somewhere. The dams were the only problem. 4 religious leaders sat together one evening after the speeches were done, after the performances were over, and they decided to speak honestly. The first said, "I preach against wealth every day, but a single coin lost, and I cannot sleep." The second said, "I preach against ego, but everything I do to be seen, to be admired. My entire spiritual life is a performance for the audience I pretend not to need." The third said, "I preach celibacy, but the days when women are absent from my congregation, I have no energy to speak." The fourth man stood up to leave. They said, "You have not told us your weakness." He said, "My weakness is gossip, and I cannot stay another single moment. The entire village is waiting to hear what I have learned here tonight." Ancient India said, "This story is every human life. Your weakness, wherever your energy drains without your choosing, is the center that has been claiming your power. Not because you are bad, not because you are weak, but because you have been fighting it. And fighting means looking at it, and looking means feeding it. Well, the summit you were meant to climb waits above. So what is the answer? Not suppression, not indulgence, transcendence, not climbing down into the valley and fighting the darkness, but beginning quietly, steadily, completely to climb. Begin directing your attention toward what calls you upward, not toward what you're desperately trying to leave behind. Because wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. And wherever your energy flows consistently, that is where you arrive. The window in the dark room. Most people spend their lives either pretending the window doesn't exist or pressing their face against the glass, trying desperately to see through, without ever simply pushing it open. Push it open. Not with force, not with a vow, not with suppression, with understanding, with a recognition that the energy you have been fighting is the same energy that will take you to where you have always been going. Coal becoming the diamond, the river becoming the ocean. Same substance, transformed. I am Cal. I am time. I have watched every method human beings have ever invented to change themselves. And I have seen only one that actually works. Fighting what is. Understanding it. Not suppressing the energy. Redirecting it. Not guarding the valley. Climbing the mountain. The summit has always been there. Above every battle you have ever fought with yourself. The summit is not the absence of what is below. The summit is where what is below no longer reaches. And you have had everything you need to begin climbing. Since the day you were born.